I was originally annoyed with the ending of Outlast 2. I felt the ending answered basically nothing and was incredibly confusing. After looking into it a little bit though, I have settled on one possible theory as being the truth. Throughout the game, you are continuously slipping in and out of reality, so you're either losing your mind or simply gaining these hallucinations due to something in the environment affecting you. I won't go too much into that side of it, but one thing I did find fascinating and a large answering point to the many seemingly unanswered questions was the point of whether or not the child was actually real. It's basically the main focus point of the game, with all the heavily religious characters claiming that your wife Lynn is pregnant from the point when the helicopter crashes. Towards the end of the game, things start to get more crazy, and with impossible things like blood raining from the sky starting to happen, it starts to become clear that maybe you're not completely sane or mentally in control anymore. When the signs of the apocalypse finally start to happen, and then the child is born directly before the end of the game with no alternate explanation, some players may draw the conclusion that it truly was the Antichrist. This would, of course, be absurd though, especially as the Outlast games have usually tried to keep relatively within the realm of reality, with a scientific and logical answer usually being revealed to explain the happenings in the game. Looking a bit further into things, it might just be too absurd to be the case, and I believe Lynn was never actually pregnant, not with the Antichrist nor a normal child. To begin with, when they first crash, there is no sign of pregnancy on her and no characters mention anything. Not that that still couldn't be the case. After all, once captured the first time, she mentions severe stomach pains and won't tell the main character what they did to her. So, in game logic, it could still be the case that she was somehow impregnated at this point, even somehow with a child that would develop as fast as hers supposedly does. That obviously being another point to make. She supposedly went from not pregnant to heavily and visibly pregnant within hours. This can happen during labour, but it just so happened to be when you had mostly lost your mind that you see her as the latter. Before finding her, the main character also says at one point that it couldn't be possible, as they hadn't done it in months. The most obvious evidence comes at the end though, as she is supposedly going into labour. Repeatedly, she says that something is wrong and it felt too painful to be normal. After the delivery, the main character turns to face her with the baby in his arms, but the baby casted no shadow. The shadow on the floor can be seen of his arms, but no baby. Lynn's final words then are, "There's nothing there," leading me to believe she is referring to the child, as she finally snaps out of her delusions and realises in death that there is in fact no baby, and she can no longer see the hallucinations that the main character is still seeing. This could all entirely be possible too, when thinking back to the first Outlast game. Notes can be found detailing women, specifically employees, experiencing pregnancies that weren't real due to how the morphogenic engine interacted with their immune systems. This led them to die if not removed from the influence. It could entirely be possible that then both Lynn and the main character were being exposed to this, or something similar, as was mentioned in one note by the lake in the second game, and it caused them to believe the pregnancy and baby were real, when it never was. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with my ideas, or if you have an entirely different theory to suggest, and thank you for watching. Bye!